All right, here we are, another episode of the Bar and Restaurant Podcast. You don't have to look at the camera, you can look at me. Anyways, I'm really excited because I have Chula Seafood here today, which is dear to my heart for sure. I love eating there, and I love seeing you guys every time I come in. And I've got all three. I mean, this is very cool. I've got Mandy, I've got John, and I've got Hogan. So I'm excited to have you guys. Welcome.
We're excited to be here, yeah.
Yay.
Thank you.
Let's talk about how the very beginning. Like, how did you guys all hook up? You know, what started this business, you know?
Well, I'll start. We kind of had, John and I were kind of in a, I don't know, not a loving job space in our personal lives. And I had this epiphany one day. John's dad has been in the commercial fishing industry for quite some time. And I'm from Seattle, so we're like, hey, why are we not bringing this amazing fish that we have access to the desert, and not just to the desert, but to the retail consumer? So to have access to all of the fresh seafood, high quality seafood for, you know, not just hotels and grocery stores, but all of the people. And then from that, we started a little market, the Vincent's on 40th Market on Saturdays, and then we got into a couple wholesale accounts, and then it just kind of took off from there.
And so from the very beginning, how did you two actually originally meet?
Mandy and I, we both went to ASU.
Okay.
I'm 7 years older than her, so I met her last year.
Cool.
Convinced her to stay. That's how we met up. And Hogan and I met each other in 5th grade.
5th grade.
We've been very good friends since I probably became really good friends in like 8th grade.
Yeah, 8th grade to high school years.
So you two were married before you were married.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
We know a lot about each other. And we have a really good group of friends, like probably about 8 guys that are still really tight.
That's great.
Talking.
Yeah, and you guys are definitely all about relationships, and you can see that even in the local community about how much people love you. And
yeah, I think people is why we do this.
Yeah.
You know, that's the reason we get up every morning is the people that work for us, the people we get to service every day. It's really is what drives us.
Yeah.
It's definitely what drives me every morning.
For sure. And Hogan, where did you work at before?
You know, I spent about 10, 12 years with Fox Restaurant Concepts.
Okay.
At all, probably 5 or 6 different concepts. But I spent the last 6 years growing True Food. So I did some True Food openings here, ran a couple of stores here locally, and then opened in Dallas and Houston and Virginia and Atlanta. And then, came back here. And he got in my ear one day, and I think it took us about a year before I decided
Committed.
to, like, really commit.
Did you think he was crazy? Did you think they're both crazy?
Oh, I told him all the time.
Right?
I mean, I still tell him he's crazy. But,
You got to be a
I
little
was
bit.
like, I don't know about bringing fresh fish to the desert if it's really worth our time and effort. But we just kept talking about it.
Yeah.
We just didn't let it die. And I got to the point where I had kind of felt like I had done everything I could do with Fox.
Okay.
And, to me, I look at it as 12 years of university.
Yeah.
I just learned everything I could. I spent as much time studying how they did things, the processes, and the systems. And it was time to kind of put that to work.
What a great university to go to.
Oh, yeah. I mean, getting paid to learn and, travel and see different things and, get it put into positions where you can make good decisions and see how it affects business.
Yeah.
It was great.
When you look at all the other markets that you were in, is Arizona still kind of your top notch? Do you love it?
I love Arizona. And I moved out. I lived on the East Coast. I worked for Kimpton Hotels for a while on the East Coast. And I found that every time I moved away, I wanted to come back to Arizona.
Yeah.
And the last time when I lived in Dallas, my wife and I lived there for about a year, and it was like, you know what? We figured it out. We want to be in Arizona.
That's great.
And it was because of the people, it's not where you go.
Yeah.
It's like who you're surrounded by.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
What we missed most was who we were surrounded by. So.
2 Sun Devils. I'm a Sun Devil as well.
Yeah, no, Sun
U of
Devil
A,
here.
Oh, you're U of A? Okay, so my son's going to U
3
of
Sun
A.
Devils.
I'm the smart one. But, they had to go where they had to go. It's not their fault.
We knew that bringing Hogan on was the next step to taking us further into the restaurant world. I have restaurant background, and John's background was sales, so he kind of took on the wholesale side of it. I was, I had our son 2 months before we opened our first restaurant.
Wow.
So it's just a lot going on all at once. And I handled most of the back end, behind the scenes type of work, while these guys got everything else up and running. And through that, we attracted some phenomenal talent. That's when we brought Juan on.
Right.
We hired him as a $12 an hour fish cutter. We were like, you are way overqualified for this.
When he called us, I said, hey, do you know anybody that's like looking for this type of job? He says, I'll do it. I said, Juan, that's not your,
Well, he wanted to go back to school. He was like, I'm getting out of the restaurant industry. I just want 20 hours a week, and I'm going back to school.
Yeah.
And then 20 hours turned into 30 hours, turned into 40, turned into 50 sometimes.
That paid off for everybody.
Well, he loved it.
Yeah,
and we loved
Yeah.
it. And he really helped elevate us to another level, because he took our food, which something I was working on, and I'm not a chef.
Right.
I can cook, but I'm not a chef, and there's a big difference.
Yeah.
And he took our cooking into the chef's world and really took it to the next level, which has helped us really grow at the level.
Grow beyond being a wholesaler or at a farmer's market and having a restaurant that people are craving.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and even with the opening of Uptown, and bringing on Kyle, Ken, and Jade, the food's so elevated. Like, her and I were looking at a picture of the chirasi plate or the sashimi plate they served you the other day, and I was like, I looked at it, I was like, I can't believe that's my restaurant.
Yeah.
I mean, the level of food that's coming out of both spots.
They're culinary geniuses. They make magic with our fish, and it's, they're part of the full package. We couldn't do what we do without them. And
we're lucky to work with them.
Yeah.
Well, that's and it's funny, as you made that comment, I'm thinking, I look at a picture of my wife and I'm like, I can't believe that's my wife. It's like,
Me too, look.
right? Yeah. So, getting into employees, and I mean, you three are a family within yourself, but even extending that out, whenever I walk into a location and I see the same people there week after week, month after month, year after year, how important is the whole family unit of what you guys have created?
Well, they are our family.
They're Chula. If you ask us, they're Chula.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
They're
Absolutely.
they talk about us and our success, and everybody brings that up, but we have no success without them.
Absolutely.
And, it's not what we do every day that makes that thing tick. I'll tell
Right.
you that much.
Right.
It's them coming in and really believing in what we want to do.
Yeah.
And that was something that was important to us, finding the people that really believed in what we were trying to accomplish, which was, we wanted to bring seafood to the desert, but we wanted to do it in a way that nobody had ever seen before. And we wanted to push the limits of what was possible.
Yep.
And that's not made for everybody.
No, no, it's a lot of work.
You have to find the right people who are willing to sacrifice for the greater good. And that's why we call it the Fish Fam, because, you've got to sacrifice for your family. And we sacrifice for them, and they sacrifice for us, and it really has built a symbiotic relationship.
Well, the Fish Fam is not just the fam that works there. It's the multitudes of people that come in day in and day out. I mean, I'd be surprised if there's not Chula tattoos, on people at this point.
The community has been such a
Thinking about it.
Yeah.
We made it back.
Yes.
We got a ways to go.
Yeah, no, the community has been, there for us the entire time. That's what, from, like I said, where we started at the market to now, we couldn't do this without the collective of everybody, the purveyors, the producers, everybody, just all of the local people helping us, and the passion behind it.
We had a employee appreciation night last night, and we were talking this morning how we couldn't believe how lucky we were to work with all those people. We're talking just like an hour ago when we were at the office. We're talking about how great it was last night.
You like hanging out with them?
Yeah.
Oh my God! And it's just so cool to watch them have fun and let loose.
We closed our restaurants early yesterday to celebrate them and give them appreciation, and that's all it was about. There was nothing else to it. Just letting them know.
Especially after a crazy year last year, right? I mean, it's just something that
never closed. That's the thing. We never closed.
So hard.
Yeah. No, I know you didn't.
We're very lucky.
Yeah.
We never closed, and we didn't lose any employees. That without it wasn't normal turnover, but I mean,
right.
It was a long year, but it was an awesome year.
It's all coming back.
Yeah.
Let's talk about San Diego and what goes on over there to kind of give people a picture in their head as they're watching this. What's the very beginning of how this process happens? The fishing for the fish and the boat and
so in the beginning we were buying mainly local fish from San Diego, and we still are as much as possible, but we've had to expand because of our wholesaling. Now we're buying fish from all over the world.
Yeah.
But the bulk of our fish comes from San Diego. My father, my brother-in-law, and my sister, and my mother run the operation over there.
Awesome.
We have our own swordfish boat that specializes in just swordfish.
Okay.
And that's a seasonal product that runs from like July through December, January. But in the meantime, we buy fish from Mexico, and it's all amassed. We in San Diego, we offload tuna boats. We buy local urchin, we buy local rockfish, sheep's head, as much as we can.
Yeah.
From the locals or from up and down the coast.
Right.
And we amass it there, all in San Diego, and then we ship most of it on our own trucks,
And
two to 3 days a week. Right now, my father is driving it back and forth. My 73-year-old father.
Oh my goodness.
That's what he wants to do. Right.
Yeah.
It's a quality control type of thing too, like us being in charge of the handling from, the boats to the processing to the transport, all of it. And then we've got Juan up at our processing facility here who basically is quality control. He touches all of the fish and makes sure the quality is there before it gets sent out to our restaurants and all the other places we purvey in the valley.
How many times a week now? Are there 2 trucks that go halfway point and then?
No,
we used to do that.
Yeah, we've gone to where the truck is so full. Because we used to be able to hand unload it,
right?
Or just swap the trucks. But now what we do is it just comes over and back in one day.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
You get to see your dad?
Yep, sometimes.
For about 7 minutes.
For about 7 minutes. I'm out of here.
While we unload the truck.
He's kind of nocturnal when he gets out.
He gets it, at night, and then he gets over about 5 o'clock.
Oh my God!
He was there before I was this morning. Gone. They unloaded him. He was there at 5. He was unloaded by 5:20. He was out the door, back to San Diego. He used to be for 25 years. His profession, he was a pilot.
Okay.
A long haul, airline pilot.
Okay.
So sitting in a seat for 12 hours is nothing. He likes it.
This is what keeps him going. This is his drive, his passion.
We asked him what he wanted to do, and this is what he said he wanted.
I want to drive fish back and forth.
Yeah.
So you want to retire and take some time off?
We got a new van. He's got a new van. And
great. Yeah. I know that drive very well because when I had owned PETA Jungle out in San Diego, it was the same. I'd get up at 3 a.m. and drive out there to make sure I could serve lunch.
Yeah.
Absolutely crazy. So, okay. So we've got that process down. And 2015 is when this started?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
We brought it to the market. We started selling fish and bagels, like they said, and we started. And then we opened up. We got the little space over in Roosevelt, and we opened up 4 days a week or 3 days a week in the beginning.
4 days a week.
4 days a week.
End of
Wednesday to
October,
Saturday.
2016 is when we opened. So, we really just needed a place to house the wholesale, and we found Rosie. We call Chula Scottsdale Rosie because it's on Hayden and Roosevelt.
Yeah.
And we housed our entire operation out of there, that's really kind of where the family mentality started to come into play.
Right.
Just all of us working so close together in this tiny spot really just showed, the passion behind all angles of what we were doing. And then in 2019 is when we all split. We took the warehouse up to the air park, or the wholesale up to the air park, and then we opened Chula Uptown.
A lot of the thought process was that we needed a place to house the wholesale.
Yeah.
In the beginning, we were just cutting it over there and taking it straight to the customers. We wanted to control a little bit more, so we got that spot. And then the thinking was, let's sell the excess stuff from the market and do a couple poke bowls.
Yeah.
And then it just kind of took off.
And you just saw it just kind of blow up after a while.
We found out there wasn't enough extra to keep up with the restaurants.
Yeah.
Right. So who came knocking on your door and said, "Hey, I'm going to put you in Uptown," or were you guys out searching at that point?
We had been searching
for a long time.
We were very close to a deal at 16th Street in Bethany.
Yeah.
And we were like moments away from signing this deal when it just wasn't right. It just didn't feel right, like the right relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when, we always said, like, sometimes the best deal you make is the deal you don't make.
100%.
And that was that one, because what dropped in our lap after we dropped that was Uptown came calling and said, "Hey, I've heard you've been looking in our neighborhood. We have something for you." I said, "Well, I'm not going to pay your price. You got to come down to my price."
Yeah.
He's like, "We don't care. We want you."
Wow.
And we made a great deal. Deal they were happy with, a deal we're super happy with.
Yeah.
And it's a great relationship. John and I grew up in that neighborhood.
Speaks volumes
Just down the
for-
street from there. So
For
us, it
high
was like
school
going
across
home.
the street, both of us. Too.
Yeah.
He went to Central. I went to Brophy. Right
It's like,
there.
I've come back home.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
that's kind of how it felt. Yeah, and we were definitely received very well at Uptown. it felt like instant success to a lot of people, but they don't know that we were working 16-hour days and seeing like 4 customers in a day at Rosie when we started.
Right.
Like, nobody saw those moments when we sat there going, sure hope some people show up.
Somebody's
today.
coming in. Hey, can you stay and talk for a little bit? Right? Yeah.
Well, I used to work, like, he used to be out doing deliveries for wholesale.
Yeah.
Juan would be like cutting fish, and I'd be up in the front and be like, okay. Then Juan would go home in the middle of the day because he's working part-time.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, I got to cook. I got to do the dishes. I got to run the front.
I did the
and
dishes.
then he would show up and, like, save me right as dinner time was coming. And,
well, when I first heard about you guys and I started going in there, like, you were all in there.
Yeah.
I mean, all just
Every
cranking
day,
away at the same time.
constant.
Yeah.
We were open 4 days a week, but we were in there 6 days a week.
Yeah.
Because wholesale's always open. I mean, it's just never really closes. We're closed on Sundays, but we do Sunday runs more often than probably any company in this valley does because we care about our customers. We really love to deliver on service.
Yep.
And that's where it always goes back to people for me. It's like great fish can be had, but great fish with great service and care isn't everywhere. And we wanted to show that it can be everywhere, and we're the people that can bring it.
Can do it. That's great. So Mandy, I see you have the Arizona flag with the Chula fish on there, and I want you to just kind of explain what the importance is of Arizona to you and localness, and when people walk in, they can see a lot of local vendors that you guys support and sell.
Yeah, I think just kind of more touching on the swordfish side of it. We're so proud of how we the swordfish that we purvey, from how it's harvested from the water to how we process it, from literally from the water to plate. Everything is done the right way, and I feel so comfortable and proud of that product because I know we're doing it right. There's no gray area of what we're doing, and that's why it feeds into, we have the Arizona flag with the swordfish in it instead of the star, because it's the star of our business. It's kind of what brought us here to this place right now, and we have a local connection to a boat. We're not just another seafood broker without a story. Like, this is our story. We're passionate about it. So with that being said, bringing the fresh fish over to the desert, we really just saw the local community, and there's so many local products and purveyors that have great seasoning salts and hot sauces and things that marry well with seafood, and small farmers and bread companies and all of these artisanal products. T-shirts, everything. And it's all about the local community. I told you, that's who supported us from the beginning. And to me, I think that it's such an essential part of our growth. And, we're more, the people within our business are within our company are super important, but so are everybody else. Like, our big thing is education. So we want to teach the importance along the way of, buying local, supporting local, and really showing where the money's going to families and back into the Arizona economy. So
it was very easy to start with local products because honestly, a lot of those people I went to high school with, I worked with in the business.
So,
we knew. Jacob Katina and I used to work together at True Food for a while.
That's great.
We use Slavo salt seasoning. Him and I went to high school together. Tiny little chef. Her little brother was one of my best friends growing up. So to me, it was like, I was just calling my friends going, you guys got some cool stuff. We're doing cool stuff. Like, we should be in partnership together. And I never really thought about it as like, oh, we have to be local, we have to do this. It just kind of organically became that because we wanted to support the people we know and we like. And they're doing really cool stuff in this town.
They are.
I mean? That's
and it's small operations too, so you still get that relationship. It's not, a salesperson coming in. It's you're buying directly from the owner or the operator, and and then their products speak for themselves too, and just elevate the whole product and of what we're doing.
It's so much more fun to work with your friends, right? I mean, it's great, and thank you guys for working with me. It took some time, but we figured it out, and I'm local as well. It's cool, and so it's that synergistic sort of dichotomy. Future plans. What can you share What are you guys looking at on the
I think we're
horizon?
gonna eat some lunch later.
Well, what's coming up? What's coming
Trick-
up right
trick
now
question.
is if not, we're expanding at Uptown.
Okay.
So we're about to knock down part of the brick wall at our Uptown location and add a bar program and a full patio. So with that being said, that'll kind of be what Chula will look like moving forward, I believe. So when we search out other locations, that's kind of what we're going to map it after.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's great.
I'd say, we're definitely in growth mode of the mindset of we want to do more. And we're looking at properties constantly. That's something I actually enjoy doing and seeing everything that's out there. We have nothing inked at this point, but I wouldn't be surprised if, not too far from here is what comes next.
I love it.
So.
32nd Street and Shea.
Yeah.
Very cool. All right.
My
So
dad would love that. He lives right there, too.
Bobby.
So I've got some rapid fire questions. You can all take them, or one of you can take them, or this and that. It's just a lot of fun. What would you rather do? Go bird watching or watching Netflix?
Bird watching.
Well,
I want to go bird watching with his dad. His dad's a bird watcher.
yeah.
Okay.
Is he really?
I'm not sure that's what I want to do, though.
He wants to go Netflix.
But I don't really want to do Netflix either.
You're coming
I
with
love
us.
looking at birds as long as they're over the ocean.
That's it. It's like, where the location of the birds? Where are we? Where are we located? Well,
I'm not good at this game.
Hogan, if you're not working, what are you doing?
If I'm not working, what am I doing?
Yep.
With my kids.
Okay, beautiful.
Doing homework, reading.
Yeah.
I love to read. I read a lot.
Okay.
But I have a 9-year-old and a 6-year-old that are such an awesome age right now that I really enjoy just being around my kids, whatever they want to do. It's been awesome.
I love that. Cheetos or Doritos?
Cheetos.
Doritos.
Ooh, 2 Cheetos, 1 Doritos.
I don't like all the pink. I like Cheetos, but the stuff on my hands is...
Yeah, it's a little much. A staycation, or would you rather travel somewhere?
Vacation.
Take me away, Calgon. Early to bed, early awake, or the opposite?
I'm a night owl.
Night owl.
I'm early as possible, and I'm up, unfortunately, early too.
I'm fighting my kids whether I can stay up later than them.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, can you go to bed now? Because dad's ready
I
to
have
go to
no
bed.
problem late in the summer. One time, I remember a couple of years ago, she goes, I go, I'm going to bed. She goes, late in the summer, she goes, it's still light outside. And I said, I don't care.
Yeah. That sounds,
I'm a 4 a.m. starter. I like to
So
get
am
my
I.
day going.
5:30 for her now.
5:30 for me now. The
I
wiener
tell
dog
these
wakes
guys
me
it
up.
takes me a minimum of 3 hours to get my mind straight before I can start my day. So-
right. Yeah, sunrise, sunset for my wife and I. That's awesome. Fletcher, Beverly Hills Cop.
Oh, Fletch.
Oh, that's hard. I'd have to go Beverly Hills. Yeah,
I don't
they're
know.
both amazing. She doesn't even know.
She wasn't even alive either. She was like,
Star Wars or Star Trek?
Star Wars.
Okay.
That's not even a...
Thank
can't
you.
even-
Yeah.
I-
That's not even the same.
If
Though
we
I
said
lo- I
Star
love-
Trek, what would have
I
happened?
love,
Floor goes
I
out.
love George Takei.
George Takei's good.
He's amazing.
Yes. All right, final question, and then I'll let you guys go. Very important question. What do you believe exists? Is it the megalodon shark, or is it Bigfoot?
Bigfoot. But so I don't.
I'd say both.
But the possibility is the megalodon shark because there's so much undiscovered stuff under the ocean that no one knows what's going on down there.
Right?
Nobody knows.
It's kind of
So
what I'm
I'd have
thinking.
to say megalodon, even though I'm a big. I like Bigfoot a lot. I'm into Bigfoot, actually.
I don't know. That's hard. I kind of feel the same way. I think Bigfoot existed at some point, or maybe still does. But I'm the same thing with the ocean. Like the ocean's just so much bigger than what we can comprehend, and I think there's just so much in there that we don't know about.
Well, it's crazy. They know more about space than they know
About the ocean.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well,
And it's like,
We pull stuff out of fish before. Like I'm sure someone knows what it is, but like remember all the
oh yeah, these guys that work on the boats full time,
Yeah.
taking stuff out of fish constantly. They're like, I've I've never seen that thing.
I don't know
before.
what that is.
I don't know what that is. I'm like, I
The
don't know what
aliens
that
live
is.
down in the ocean.
That's-
Yeah,
I think
yes.
we're talking
Yeah.
about like clear jellyfish,
Yeah,
half
they don't
vertebrate
have
things that we
bones.
don't know
Right.
what it
They
is.
have shape. I mean, it's like
Because swordfish are
some
deep
weird
water
stuff.
fish,
Yeah.
so they're down
They'll
there
eat
eating
anything.
all of the stuff that we don't see, and then we bring them up and we harvest it, and that's where we.
See,
There's
yeah.
lots of cool stuff just been washing up, like an oarfish just washed up in California, like really long oarfish.
Yeah.
And then one of those.
The anglerfish, in California.
That's very rare.
See, I knew this question would get me all like I'm a huge like
Yes.
Discovery Channel.
So,
Totally.
yeah.
I asked our captain, I've never seen our captain get in the water. I asked him why. He goes, "You don't know what's down there."
You don't know what's down there. Well, where can everybody find you? I know you have social media stuff all over the place. So what's the best places?
So Instagram's our big one, just at Chula Seafood, and then we've got our wholesale operation now that Juan's actually running. It's at Chula Wholesale, so you can kind of see the new species coming in, and Juan just is very passionate and eloquent about the seafood that we have. So it's fun. It's a fun account to follow.
Great.
yes.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys so much for
buddy.
coming and hanging out.
Yeah, thank you.
It's been great.
Yes.
So that's another edition of the Bar Restaurant Podcast, sponsored by myself, Bar and Restaurant Insurance, and Local 480. If you get a chance, please give me a 5-star because all three of them said to do it. And thank you for listening. Until next time.
Thank you.